This the introduction. Yep, I'm introducing me. 6 feet, 300 pounds, known to rock the newest sneaks. Cool and never fooling, rocking G-Shocks like it's jewelry. Counting mad currency, flowing better than fluently. A man told me my years ain't match my wisdom. I can't remember his name. I promise.
On March 18, 2017, two of the most devastating punchers in the world faced off in one of boxing's most anticipated matchups of this year, in order to solidify their name as being the hardest puncher in the sport of boxing, as well as possibly pound for pound number one. Welcome to Neutral Corner, where we take fighters from past and present from all prominent combat sports and stack them up against each other in a fictitious head-to-head battle, going by their statistics, accomplishments, and attributes to decide who will be victorious between two combatants. Today we'll be discussing the upcoming matchup between Gennady Triple G Golovkin and Daniel Miracle Man Jacobs. First, we will be weighing in Triple G. Before turning professional, Gennady Golovkin had an astronomical amount of 350 amateur fights, winning silver medal in the middleweight division in the Olympics and 3 gold medals in international tournaments prior. As a professional, he holds 3 of the 4 world championships in the middleweight division and has an unprecedented record with 36 wins with 33 knockouts, giving him the highest knockout percentage in middleweight boxing history at 92%. Next, we will be weighing in Daniel Jacobs. Before turning professional, Daniel Jacobs had one of the best resumes in American boxing history, winning several national tournaments at welterweight and middleweight, and was a 4-time Golden Glove New York State champion. Since turning professional, he has held the WBA World Middleweight Championship since 2014. His professional record is almost as impressive as Golovkin's, with 32 wins, 1 loss, and 29 KOs, having a KO percentage literally 1 less percent than Golovkin's at 91%. When it comes to size, Triple G is 5 feet 10 inches and has an identical wingspan with a 70-inch reach. Daniel Jacobs, however, is 6 feet even with a 73-inch reach. He is the natural bigger man because he also competes at super middleweight. Further indication of him being heavier in size is that during the mandatory 30-day weigh-in, Triple G weighed in at 165 pounds, just 5 pounds over the 160-pound weight limit, while Daniel Jacobs weighed in at 176. As the saying goes, size matters. Size is a significant advantage that can cause the smaller opponent to exert more energy and movement, throwing and even taking shots. Size is the reason why we have weight classes in fighting sports, to limit a fight being dictated by such factors being attributed by weight and more about skill. The size disparity isn't enough to make this fight unfair by any stretch of the imagination, but the edge in size clearly goes to Daniel Jacobs in this fight. Both boxers have commendable hand speed, but they aren't the fastest punchers in the sport or even in the division for that matter. In this category, I'm going to rate both fighters as even. Both fighters literally have the highest knockout percentages in middleweight boxing history. It may seem logical to give the edge to the fighter that has a higher percentage, even if it's just by 1%. But in this case, surprisingly, the edge goes to Daniel Jacobs. Why, you ask? Everybody knows that Triple G is a Terminator, but so is Daniel Jacobs. He is also the bigger fighter, which will allow him to likely throw the heavier shots easier than Triple G. Now, I know that you guys are thinking, what about the 1% difference? Yes, it's true that Triple G has a percentage higher than Daniel Jacobs, and also has 4 more knockouts than Jacobs. He also has a 28 knockout win streak, but while it usually takes Triple G a few rounds to get the knockout, Jacobs has more first round finishes than Golovkin. By sheer numbers alone, it's easy to give the advantage to Triple G in the realm of experience. It's very rare for a fighter to have even half the amount of fights as Triple G regardless of the sport. However, when it comes to fighting, it's about the man you're fighting and not the number. And Americans typically have better competition than foreigners, as Americans are usually more advanced in the meta of boxing, and foreigners are usually more one-dimensional fighters. In any case, I would still designate Triple G as being the more successful as an amateur due to winning more large-scale competitions, and most definitely being more successful as a professional, having more fights and more titles. Triple G has also fought better competition such as the likes of Kell Brooks and David Lemieux. I swear I always want to say David Lemieux, but it's pronounced Lemieux. But that's neither here nor there, so I was So having more fights and being more successful in the ring with more accomplishments and fighting better competition, the advantage goes to Triple G. Triple G is unquestionably the most feared man in boxing today, and for good reason. He is more than just a championship boxer, he's a force of nature, with him being undefeated and having the highest KO percentage in middleweight boxing history, as well as one of the most successful amateur fighters the world has ever known. He is normally viewed as a calculating pressure fighter. He has strong fundamentals, and his uncanny ability to take a punch is only surpassed by his ability to give one. He is not the quickest or the savviest fighter, but it never stopped him from being able to turn into an avalanche and crush his opponents. You're talking about a guy that's never been knocked down in the ring, even when sparring. I'm glad that Triple G is finally getting the recognition that he deserves. He's currently 34 years old, but he should have begun this kind of a spotlight over a decade ago with all the hard work he's put in those 386 fights. Daniel Jacobs is very similar to Triple G. His career was almost derailed with him nearly dying from cancer, but he managed to bounce back from his cancer treatment, winning 10 straight fights, all by knockout. Early on in his career, he was one of boxing's quickest rising stars, and has devastating punching power that more than rivals Triple G's. He's not a flashy fighter by any means, but he has a very awkward style where he jumps from orthodox to southpaw on the fly. He is a knockout artist that loves to throw combinations. He has overall great movement, defense, and is much more well-rounded than Golovkin. He does get a little sloppy sometimes when he takes the offensive, which can leave him open for a devastating shot. In a fight that he got knocked out, he wasn't losing, he just got caught, and it happens to the best of us. In order to be a fighter like Triple G, however, you need to be a much savvier than Golovkin, as well as having great defense to dodge or nullify a blow when it lands, while also having a gas tank to stay on your bike and be able to take the fight deep waters. Being a bigger fighter will also help with being able to deal with Golovkin's hard shots. Daniel Jacobs possesses a lot of the tools which makes him the most dangerous opponent Triple G has ever faced. He has the horsepower and the precision to finish fights in the early rounds, as well as the gas tank and the tenacity to go the entire distance and get the finish in the final round. When he faced a fighter similar to Golovkin and Dmitry Byrod, he did end up getting knocked out in the 5th round. I honestly think that he was okay enough to continue fighting, but if Dmitry can touch Jacobs in that way, then so can Golovkin. But in this special instance, Golovkin is fighting a bigger individual, and he's not accustomed to going the distance. It's well known that Golovkin is not the most savviest fighter in the game, and is known to take a lot of shots to give one. He hasn't been out-punched, but he has been out-boxed. He is also very accustomed to getting reckless just to get the knockout. Jacob, on the other hand, can use his movement, use his jab at even angles at times, and is more accustomed to fighting longer fights than Golovkin. I have to begrudgingly give the edge to Jacobs in this round. This is an extraordinary matchup, and it's a lot closer than most people may think. I can almost consider this fight being a toss-up, but I'm going to go with Jacobs. In the realm of boxing, it's more logical to bet on the fighter that can win on points as opposed to winning by knockout. And when two devastating punches collide, the bigger fighter usually tends to play it safe and win by point. For example, if you recently saw this happen with Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman fall just a week ago, Keith Thurman was the bigger guy, but he had to use his movement to secure him the decision. Another example of this when Lucas Matisse fought against Ruslan Provodnikov. Those two are known for their devastating punching power, but Lucas decided to win the fight by relying on his jab and not taking heavy risks unless he had to. With Triple G being who he is, it's very possible that he can get a knockout on Daniel Jacobs, even though he's a smaller guy, and even in the early rounds. But if he doesn't, he's going to succumb to Tyson syndrome, where if he doesn't get the early knockout, it's going to be harder for him to box in the late rounds, making it much easier for Jacobs to outbox and even outpunch the smaller opponent. I have Daniel Jacobs winning by split decision. Thank you guys very much for watching the second episode of YouTube Corner. If you guys like the video, please share it on any one of your social media accounts and tag me in the video. That's King Chimera. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's King Chimera with the 1. If you do so, you have a very good chance of winning your very own Jack t-shirt. You can multiple colors that you can see right here. Once again, this is your boy Brian Muses. See you guys next time.
She just watched the world ignore from her window peak to one night.